So came home, told my wife, this is what I want to do, and she's like, you're crazy. And I said, well, I'm going to be miserable if I stay in this job for any much longer. So,
Right.
Said, all right, cashed out my 401k, and here we are.
Welcome to TapThatAZ, the podcast that brings you the fascinating stories behind the exploding Arizona craft beer scene directly from the people who are making it happen. I'm your host, Eric Walters. In this episode, I sit down with Jason from Arizona Distilling Company out of Tempe. These guys are making some pretty awesome stuff over there. They've got, a lot of people are familiar with the Copper City Bourbon, but they've got some other really good stuff. Gin, the first gin I've ever really enjoyed just drinking straight up. They make an awesome vodka, a couple different kinds of whiskey. They're just really doing some cool stuff. So keep an eye out for Arizona Distilling Company spirits. Grab a drink. Let's tap into Arizona Distilling Company. So I'm here with Jason. We're on, what's the cross streets? We're on University and
Roosevelt.
Okay, so I'm with Jason from Arizona Distilling.
Yep.
Dude,
How's it
thanks
going, man?
for joining me. It's going great. We're going to get into this, but I've got a row of products here that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to get the taste. So
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty pumped about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did it start? Like, how did you start making great liquor?
we just I was a home brewer for a while, and I really wanted to open up a brewery. And if I was going to start a business, I'm born and raised in Tempe, so I wanted to have a business in Tempe. And doing a brewery in Tempe, there's a little bit of competition.
A little bit, yeah.
So we didn't exactly want to do that
in
Tempe. So we looked at different ideas, and micro distilling was kind of on the forefront up in the Northwest at the time. This was about 2006, 2007. And then just looked into it and bought a little home still. And started doing stuff at home.
Yeah.
I know it's not legal, but
I won't tell anybody. No last names either.
Right, exactly. So just fell in love with the whole process. Basically, it's kind of a natural progression for a brewer to move on to distilling, because you're basically making beer anyway. You're just stripping the alcohol from that beer, and that's how it becomes a spirit.
Gotcha.
And distillation. So I went to a bunch of seminars around the country. We went to a class up in Michigan State. And then I came back home, and then I looked up some other schools, and there was one school up in Spokane with a distillery called Dry Fly Distillery. And I was interned there for about a week, and just learned pretty much the whole process and everything. I was there for their first whiskey release, and there was like 3 news outlets there, and there was a line wrapped around the block for their first whiskey at 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
In Spokane.
Yeah.
So it's not too warm there either. So 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So just saw how big it could be if something could go on like that in Spokane. Just imagine what could happen in Tempe. So came back home. I also worked with a distillery in Henderson, Nevada, called Las Vegas Distillery. Worked with them a little bit, and came home, told my wife I was quitting my job. I was a blackjack dealer for 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was a home brewer part-time as a hobby, and then dealing blackjack. So I hated that job.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was just brutal.
Yeah.
You get verbally abused all day long, get blamed for everything in their life, and then believe me, you're trying to give them money, but it's like impossible. So, and I was the cooler, so I was the guy that would come in
when people were fired up. Nice.
Yeah, so people are a little bit happier to see me now. Besides behind the blackjack table.
Yeah.
So came home, told my wife, this is what I want to do, and she's like, you're crazy. And I said, well, I'm going to be miserable if I stay in this job for any much longer. So,
right.
Said, all right, cashed out my 401k, and here we are.
Nice. Nice. Well, I was referred to you by Dave from the shop.
Yeah.
Dave Arntz.
Yeah.
So, did a great episode with him and Jason, and I said, who else would you recommend in the area that would be cool? And he recommended you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Those guys are great. They've been a great resource for me. So it was just awesome because I've been doing a lot of beer, but it's cool to know that there's like whiskey, and you guys got gin, vodka. So tell me about what do we got in front of us?
Yeah, so we have, right now we have 6 products. We're going to be coming out with 2 additional. We started out with our Copper City Bourbon. That was our first product that we came out with. That's probably what most people know us by. Mm-hmm. That one, we wanted to have something that the cowboys were drinking in the Wild West to be our first product.
Okay.
So they weren't drinking, Appletinis or any of that stuff. They were drinking the hard stuff. So we wanted to come up with a bourbon first. So that you don't make a bourbon first if you're starting in the micro distillery. So we had help with the Copper City Bourbon. We started out with that just to get a little bit of traction in the market, and also generate some income so we can start doing other brands.
Copper City was that you guys just started producing that only.
That was our first product that we came out with.
Okay.
So we teamed up with a distillery in Indiana. It's pretty well known within the industry, the distillery. So we worked with them, and we came up with Copper City. So Copper City, the name is derived from an old brewery, like back before Prohibition.
Okay.
It was down in the Bisbee, Douglas region of Arizona.
Okay.
And it was a huge brewery at the time. It was so big that it was a big competitor to Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Because Bisbee was, I believe, the second largest city west of the Mississippi, besides San Francisco back in the day.
Wow.
It's a huge copper mining town.
I did not know that. Yeah.
So, being that Bisbee was such a large city, Copper City Brewing Company, they were a big competitor to Anheuser-Busch. They had a label. It was called Tannhauser. You look at the Tannhauser label, you look at a Budweiser label, they're almost identical.
Oh, really?
So they ended up getting sued by Anheuser-Busch for copyright infringement.
Okay.
So then we wanted to have a connection with the original Copper City, and the only way I thought we could do that was to get a cease and desist letter of our own. So what I would do, I would cut little pieces of twine, wrap it around the neck of the bottle, dip it in wax. So we went after Maker's Mark. We knew that they protect that wax pretty heavily.
Like as a trademark, as
a trademark. Yeah. So it's not the wax as much as it is they call them tendrils, the drip. So it's So it's like a trademark on gravity, basically.
Yeah.
So, but
sneaky bastards.
Yeah. So we released this Copper City with the wax in June, and by October, that's when we got our little cease and desist letter we have on the wall here.
You got it framed up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a source of pride for us, I guess.
That's really cool, yeah, because I can see on the wall here they got a picture of the bottles, and it's gold wax, and it's got those drips coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a funny letter. This is just stuff that we normally tell people on tours.
Yeah.
So that's we got the letter. It served its purpose, and now we could have probably made a big stink about it, saying that the big boys are trying to go after the little guys and all that. But we baited them. We were just tugging on Superman's cape a little bit, and they came after us. So.
Yeah.
And it's a funny letter. It's probably the most passive aggressive letter you're ever going to see. But,
oh, really?
Yeah. But it's just it's signed by Rob Samuels, the owner of Maker's Mark. And so and believe me, I hated doing that in the first place, because I was sitting here in our old warehouse. We didn't have air conditioning. You'll see a couple of Yelp reviews that say that it's brutal and how hot it was on the tours and stuff. So I was sitting here cutting little pieces of twine, dipping it in wax every day, and it was just way too hot, and it was miserable. And wax was everywhere.
Right.
So we just said, we got the letter. It served its purpose now.
Yeah.
Now we just have this framed, and for whenever people come on tours, we talk about that.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
and also the font for the Copper City label, that is patterned after an old font that was used for an amusement park that was here when I was growing up as a kid. It was called Legend City.
Oh, okay.
It's where the SRP building is now. It was where the SRP building is now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's just something for people that grew up out here, maybe are over 40 and remember that.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a long time ago.
So I already see the theme here of importance to the local for you.
Yeah.
Because you were telling me before you were born and raised here, which is...
I am. Yeah, I'm fourth generation native
Yeah.
Arizonan. So my dad grew up in Coolidge. My grandmother was born in Pierce, Arizona, which is about 15 miles northeast of Tombstone.
Okay. Yeah.
So the family lines run deep, I guess, in Arizona.
Right.
So.
That's awesome. So and then so what else? What else?
Yeah,
You got
so
here? I just
then-
had that. That was smooth. I like a little bit of mouth burn with bourbon, and it has that, but it doesn't you're not drinking like kerosene.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's smooth. It's really smooth. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
So then the second product that we came out with, I believe that we came out with the gin next.
Okay. Commerce Gin.
Commerce Gin. It used to be just our logo, Arizona Distilling Company Gin. We were finding that bars were having a hard time calling it what it was or identifying it. It was just too long on the bar menu.
Okay.
So we came up with the Commerce as the name. With our gin, we have this one pays homage to the 5 C's of Arizona. So anybody that grew up in Arizona, 4th grade social studies, they talk about the 5 C's.
Okay.
And that's copper, cotton, cattle, climate, and citrus.
Okay.
And our take on those 5 C's is we have 5 C's botanicals that go into the gin bag. So it's cardamom, cumin, coriander, cinnamon, and citrus. The citrus is lime zest. We also use lavender, apple to commemorate the apple orchards in Wilcox, Arizona.
Okay.
And then juniper berries. You have to have juniper berries to be called a gin.
Oh, really? That's a key. You have to have.
Yeah, so it has to have more juniper berry essence than any other botanical.
Okay.
So you can put whatever you want in it, but the juniper flavor really has to come through the most.
And that's what you were saying was that piney taste that.
Yeah. So this one here, I wasn't a gin guy when we were doing all the research for the company, but we were tasting other gins that weren't commercially produced, and it was a lot less of that juniper forward flavors, and that's what we said. This is what we want to have.
Yeah.
We want to have something that's not your grandfather's gin, where it's just juniper berries and that's it.
Okay.
Just too much pine.
Yeah.
We want to have something that's a little bit more balanced, a little less juniper forward, maybe a little bit more floral, a little bit more citrus to it. From floral from the lavender, coriander, and obviously the lime zest is going to give it more of a citrusy flavor.
Yeah.
That one was our first big award winner with the double gold medal at San Francisco Spirits Competition, which that's the only real competition we enter.
Okay. That's huge, right? I mean, that's the biggest.
Yeah, that's the one that's is the most well respected and the toughest one to get into.
Okay.
Or not to get into, but to get anything big
Get
from
awards.
it.
Yeah. And double gold means that that it was a unanimous decision, right?
It means that all the judges said that it was a gold medal.
Okay.
And then that gives you the double gold, and then that goes on to another round where you get the best in show. So all the double golds go into the best in show.
Gotcha.
And we didn't get the best in show, but double gold's good enough for us.
Yeah.
So-
It was rigged, probably. Yeah.
It always is. If we didn't get the best in show, it's rigged.
Yeah. So it's great. It's rare that I drink gin just straight up. Most people
Sure.
don't drink it straight up, right?
Yeah.
But it's once again, this is fantastic.
Well, thanks.
It took me a long time to like gin because it was like Christmas trees, it was, I'm
Yeah.
like, and it would always give me a headache. And then I realized, well, I mean, it's alcohol, right? I mean, that's going to give you a headache eventually. But it was the sugar in the tonic. Right?
Okay, yeah.
That's what gets me. So I'm more apt to just drink straight gin now.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the original martini.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about tonic with that.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is the first gin I've ever tried that I can just drink it straight up.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then the latest product we came out with was our vodka.
This is the newest one?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's the latest one that we've came out with.
Okay.
We have a couple of things that we're going to come up with, but that was the latest one that we came out with, and that's the Mission Vodka.
Okay.
It's 7 times distilled, 100% corn, gluten-free. Price point is less than Tito's.
Okay, nice.
Not trying to promote Tito's, but
Right.
obviously I didn't there. But
We're cheaper than
Yeah.
Tito's.
Yeah.
Well, less expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Price point. Good point.
yeah, so the mission, that's named after San Xavier del Bac Mission, which is down near Tucson. Beautiful place if anybody's down in the area. It's always awesome to go there just to see the old mission.
And that's what's on the label here. The front,
Yeah.
there's that picture.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a picture of that mission there. So we try to do everything, super Arizona. Just tell stories about Arizona through our spirits. And this one won the double gold medal last year at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. So now we have 2 gold medals, double gold medals, with our vodka and our gin. And so we're super proud about that. So yeah, that's our vodka.
Once again, very tasty. Tastes like vodka.
Thanks.
Yeah. It does. I had to rinse my mouth out a little bit with some water after the gin because that's pretty has a significant taste to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's you get all those essential oils from the botanicals, and it kind of coats your mouth.
Yeah.
And that's one thing with our distillation process for the gin. We use a vapor infusion, which means that we have our pot, and then above the pot there's this almost like a stovepipe, and we put our bag in that stovepipe, and that vapor travels up through the bag.
Okay.
It catches all those flavors of those botanicals, and then comes out with the flavor of a gin.
Interesting.
It's pretty common practice. Like Bombay Sapphire does the same kind of thing.
Okay.
But we distill ours super slow too, because if you just heat that pot up and you're blasting that vapor through there, it's just going through there too fast, and you're not getting a lot of the flavor that you would if you did it super fast. So,
Okay.
So yeah, and that's our vodka, the Mission Vodka, and then we can move on to, I think, our next whiskey that we came out with was our Desert Durham.
Okay. Yeah, the wheat whiskey, right?
Yeah, so that's our Desert Durham wheat whiskey. This one's hit or miss with a bunch of people. They don't. Some people think it's a little rough. Some people love it. So, it's super subjective how people like it or not. So
Yeah.
The Desert Durham, that was kind of a fluke, really. We just I wanted to have something that was locally grown. So that's we wanted to be the first distillery to use locally grown grain to make spirits out of. So that's Desert Durham was the first whiskey to use a locally grown grain for a spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Desert Durham. That's a strain of Durham wheat, which Durham wheat is normally grown in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and its main purpose is to make pasta out of it.
Oh, I did read about that. That's interesting.
Sure, yeah. And we just basically said, okay, this is what we're gonna try it.
Yeah.
A lot of other distilleries or guys that I talked to within the industry, they were like, Durham's it's got too much protein in it. It's really good for making pasta, but not so much for spirits. Nobody really was doing it. I think we're the first one that did a Durham vodka, the whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And so we tried it. We had to use a little anti-foam and stuff, so it didn't foam up in the still. Because if it foams up in the still and you get a boil over and stuff like that, then you're in trouble.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So
was it because of the protein?
Some of that it can affect that. So we tried it out, and we aged it for about 8-9 months in a small barrel, and we sent it off to a her name's Nancy Fraley, and she tastes everything. They call her a nose. So it's like the guys will send their whiskey or whatever to her, and she'll give you like the tasting notes and what she thinks, and she brought it back and she said, this is super unique. You guys do what you can to protect this baby, because this one is something that she's never really tasted before. So it's a super unique whiskey. We also sent it to another guy. He writes a whiskey Bible, and his name's Jim Murray, and he gives reviews of like 4,000 whiskeys every year, and he rates it on a scale of 1 to 100. He gave us an 89.5 out of 100 for our whiskey. He said that it was for the Durham, the Desert Durham.
How do you get these jobs, right? I mean,
I don't know. You just tell everybody that my palate is better than everybody else's, and so. Also, as far as the Desert Durham wheat, that was a strain of wheat that was developed by the UC Davis Agriculture Program. They want to come up with this strain of wheat that could flourish in arid environments, so it wouldn't take a lot of water. So they came up with this Desert Durham strain. They threw it in the ground in between Yuma and Casa Grande, and it blew up, turned into a big industry. They grow it here, they ship it to Italy to make pasta out of it, and then they ship it back.
Wow.
So like if you've seen Berea or De Cecco pasta on the shelves.
I have to look for it now.
Berea's in a blue box. They used to have commercials for it and stuff. But
it's one of the more significant ones.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So that's made with some of the stuff that's grown, 30 miles south of here. So they ship it off to Italy, call it Italian, then bring it back and sell it back to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's the Durham.
Okay.
And then the next one is our Humphreys. Humphreys is a collaboration that we did with a prominent Tempe brewer. We don't want to say their name.
Okay.
Because they didn't want us to say their name on the label, so I won't say their name.
Gotcha.
But I think everybody gets it.
It's a malt whiskey.
This was before the shop was around, so sorry, Dave.
Dave's like, wait, what?
But so it's Humphreys, and I went over to the brewery. We started working on a mash with their equipment about 4:30 in the morning. We started it off. It was a 80% rye or 80% barley, 20% rye mash. So we went over there. We did the mash, cooled it down, put it in some totes, and then drove it over to our distillery, fermented and distilled it there.
Okay.
This one won a gold medal last year at the, or maybe I think it was 2 years ago. It won the gold medal at the San Francisco Spirits Competition.
Gotcha, 2015.
Yeah.
Right.
So 2 years ago. And then that was one of 3 micro distillery whiskeys to get a gold medal in the spirits competition. The other 2 guys are really big players within the micro distillery community.
Okay.
Anyway, so we were super proud to be in their company.
Yeah.
But this is our take on a malt whiskey, which anything that's made with barley, 51% barley, is a malt whiskey.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So
it
that
has to be whatever it's called, like rye or malt or whatever it is, has to be a majority of that particular.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, exactly. So and bourbon, that to me, that's like the granddaddy of them all. That's a territorial thing. So no one in the rest of the world can make a bourbon unless it's within the United States. So it's like tequila in Mexico or Scotch in Scotland.
Okay.
Cognac in France. You have to be within the United States. It has to be at least 51% corn mash, and then it has to go into an all new white oak barrel. So it has to go into a virgin barrel.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So if you think about it, like Jim Beam has, hundreds of thousands of barrels aging at any one time, and they can't use those barrels ever again for a bourbon. So they sell their barrels to tequila companies or Scotch distilleries where they don't have those regulations.
Yeah.
And Jack Daniel's is kind of like that too. They use new barrels. Their barrels go to, that's a Tennessee whiskey though. I believe the only reason why it's not a bourbon is because of the maple finishing process. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I believe is the only reason why it's not a bourbon.
Gotcha.
But
there was a rumor, not a rumor, but I always thought that for it to be called a bourbon, it had to be within Bourbon County, Kentucky. Was that ever true?
No.
Okay.
It's Kentucky bourbon, yes.
Okay.
If you would see a Kentucky bourbon, yeah.
Yeah. You've heard that before, right?
Yeah, every time we do tours, everybody's saying that bourbon's only made in Kentucky.
Right.
And most of it's true.
Right.
Since these micro distilleries have been popping up, bourbon has been sprouting around the country.
Gotcha. Okay.
There was actually a Bourbon Act that Lyndon Johnson signed, and I think it was 1963 or 64, and it created all these regulations for bourbons.
To keep them here.
To keep it in the United States.
Yeah.
And it helped out the corn farmers and helped out the cooperage, the barrel makers. So he signed that act, and that came up with all these regulations to be called a bourbon.
Okay.
So
nice.
And the biggest buyer of Jack Daniel's barrels, I believe, is Tabasco. So Tabasco will age their hot sauce in old Jack Daniel's barrels. Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe that's true. I don't,
We'll verify that for you.
It's it's Wikipedia. That's basically.
It's got to be true. Then. It has
exactly.
to be. Yeah. And then we got the rye.
Yeah. So this was our last product. I believe the last whiskey we came out with.
Okay.
Park Rye. That's another hit or miss one. A lot of people love it. Some people hate it, but it's just it's the nature of the beast. Park Rye, 95% rye, 5% of the desert durum wheat. We couldn't find any locally grown rye, so we couldn't use locally grown rye. So the rye comes from Montana, but we're talking with farmers locally that are growing some rye for us, and we're going to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the fun with this, is we try to work with as much farmers as we can, as much locally grown stuff that we can get.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to represent Arizona as best we could. And Humphreys I forgot about the Humphreys tie-in to Arizona, which Humphreys is the tallest peak in Arizona. Up in Flagstaff. So,
is that Snowball? Is that
Humphreys?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the Humphreys Peak, that's on the label you can see there's a mountain on it. So that's where that comes from.
I like that label a lot.
So thanks. The Park Rye. Rye is getting really popular now, so we wanted to have something that it's more of a Wild West thing too. So that's what they would drink. Like I said, 95% rye, 5% of the desert durum. This one's named Park after the first brewery in Arizona.
The first brewery?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't have a lot of distilleries to name stuff after, so we went after breweries.
Yeah.
So Copper City being one of the largest, and Park was the first down in Tucson.
Okay.
And it was like a Busch Gardens concept. So they had a brewery and an amusement park on site in the 1860s. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was cool to bring that name back. We wanted to commemorate their name on our label. So we looked at any kind of advertising or anything we could find within like the archives or whatever, and we found Park.
Okay.
The label on the. I'm sorry. We found the font for the Park. It was in one little advertisement in like an old newspaper.
That was their original font?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what we slapped on the label there.
Yeah.
So sorry, my tongue got tied there for a second.
And I'm the one that's tasting the whiskey still,
Well, you weren't here earlier.
That's right. You were sleeping on the floor when I came in. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for waking me up.
Yeah. No, this is great too. I mean, I like everything. I mean, I told somebody yesterday there's only one thing I don't like: horseradish. That's it. Like of everything, food, drinks. Yeah, I'm not a huge sour beer fan, but I'll try them. I'll always try them. There's a few that I found, but I like everything. But this stuff is exceptional.
Well, thank you.
You guys are doing a great job. Yeah.
Thank you. We're trying. And we're trying to. That's the whole point of doing this, is trying to get our take on Arizona. Trying to bring Arizona, to other states and the world. Really, we're just trying to showcase just stories about Arizona, and we're trying to do it with quality stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. I mean, you could be as local as you want, but if you don't have a decent product, it's tough.
Right.
It only goes within the local parameters.
Yeah.
So, because people in California don't care if it's Copper City bourbon.
Right.
They don't know about that.
No. And that's cool that you guys are doing this. That's what I love about what I've been doing is going out to all these breweries. I've done a couple like coffee shops. Everything's like local, but there's just such great pride in trying to keep everything here.
Yeah.
Because there are so many resources and so many opportunities. I mean, with the different climates and all that, I think there's opportunity for so many different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Arizona, I was talking to Eric Klomsky up at Page Spring Cellars.
Yeah.
And he was talking about all the microclimates in Arizona and just how many different microclimates there are and where you can grow things in these certain microclimates.
Yeah.
And it's Arizona is just incredible with, I mean, you can just see it. When you go to Tucson, it's all desert. You go 3 miles north, and you're in Ponderosa pine country.
Right.
So, it's we just have a lot of pride in Arizona, and just want to showcase that with everybody else through our spirits.
Absolutely. And so what do we got
This is our
next?
tequila. So tequila cannot be made in America.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
So we went down to Jalisco, Mexico. We teamed up with a distillery down there and made our own. That is called Dos Tierras, which means two lands in Spanish. And we went down there. The agave, it's all estate grown, 100% organic. And the agave piñas, they call them, are cooked in an old brick oven. A lot of the distilleries now are using big steel autoclaves, and we wanted to use the old world style.
Yeah.
It's not using a Tohono, which is that big stone that goes around and crushes the piñas.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Not yet, but we're working on trying to get our tequila made with that. 'Cause it seems that it creates a lot of flavor to the at least the Blanco.
Okay.
So that's what we're trying to get as much flavor and trying to get it as smooth as possible. That's our goal with everything, is trying to get as much flavor and smooth.
Yeah, and it all has been. Like when I just tasted this tequila, this is probably the most flavorful tequila I've had.
Well, thanks.
Because it's like, it's not just I don't know. Sometimes you have that tequila taste, but it's there's not much to it. There's
Sure.
Not much body to it, but this does. Like this, you take a drink and it's like, wow.
Well, thanks.
Once again, just like the gin, something you can just drink straight up.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. I usually drink whiskey straight up, but like tequila and gin, not usually.
Uh-huh.
But I'll make an exception for you guys.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
this
that.
This is fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit creamier. You can really get the creamy flavor to it.
Yeah.
So, and the artwork was done by a really prominent local artist that I just love his work. And I said, if we ever did a tequila, we got to have Lalo Cote do the artwork.
Yeah.
So that's we have three different labels. First one being our the Dos Tierras Blanco, then the Reposado, and then the Añejo, and then we'll have an extra Añejo, which is Añejo is anywhere from 1 to 3 years, and extra Añejo is anything after that.
Okay.
So we're really excited to get the tequila out. That's just something being in the Southwest and having a Spanish influence. We wanted to have something that was more of a desert spirit.
Yeah.
I guess So.
Yep. You got the cowboy. Now you've got the South American.
The bandito.
Yeah.
Yes.
The bandito.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that artwork. Like I love his work. Like he's done work like on some buildings downtown and things like that.
So he's done a lot of murals downtown. He works a lot with Barrio Queen.
Okay.
Does a lot of stuff there. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really happy for him and the recognition that he deserves. He's getting it. So that's really cool to see that.
Yep.
And honored to have him do our artwork for our labels.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool. And that's you look at that picture, and that was kind of an inspiration for the logo I created. I was telling you before we started recording that I had reached out to him. I'm kind of new to Arizona, so
Sure.
I don't know all the local stuff. But I reached out to him, and I talked to somebody at work, and she was like, "Yeah, he's like a big time artist." I'm like, "Really?" Like I just thought, I didn't realize he was. So I started following him, and he was super cool about it. He's like, I'd be happy to help you. And it didn't quite work out. But his artwork was the inspiration for my logo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's he is kind of a big deal without the ego.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and the tie-in to Arizona, we haven't really launched the tequila yet. We were going to wait to launch it at when our retail location is opening up.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But the tie-in to that, there was America's first tequila distillery, which you can't have that now.
Right.
But it was back in 1936, and it was in Nogales, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So that was called San Andres Distillery.
Gotcha.
Down there, and their tagline that they had, it was called the Toast of Two Nations. So they were making tequila down in Nogales back in 1936, before all these regulations to where it was a territorial thing and just a Mexican product, and it was only in Jalisco.
Okay.
So that's what we have on our back label too, where it says the Toast of Two Nations. So
okay.
Yeah, it just talks about the San Andres distillery on the back, and how they were the first ones in America to make spirits from agave.
Yeah.
So that's just another thing we're tying in with Arizona and our spirits.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. We got one last one here.
Yeah. So this one here, this was our Arizona wine. I'm sorry, that's 118 proof too. So
that's fair. Wow.
Just
I passed out for a second. That's why you said, whoa, hey, wait, no.
What was that?
118 proof?
Yeah, 118
Wow.
proof.
Okay.
It's our Copper City bourbon, and we finished it in a Cabernet wine cask.
Okay.
From Arizona Stronghold Vineyards. We sent this off earlier in the year, and we got a double gold medal this year. So for this product, so now we have three double gold medals in 3 years running. So it's something we're super proud of.
Yeah.
Just to keep getting those awards is awesome for us, especially for distribution outside of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You can take this to another state, and they know that they're getting a quality product.
Right.
So yeah, what we did, we just finished the bourbon in an old Arizona Cabernet wine cask, and it's barrel strength, so cask strength.
Yeah.
At 118 proof.
Yeah.
And this one was just for the JW Marriott. They bought the whole barrel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we got the award, and we're working with Eric Glomsky, who's the owner of Stronghold and Page Springs. We're working with him to get on the rotation to where we'll have more of this product in the future.
Nice.
So
nice. So it's you want it to be kind of one of your the normal. Ones.
Yeah. So it'll be. We're hoping to have it in our bar.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it'll be out in distribution.
Okay.
But it'll definitely be at the bar here.
Yeah.
And then that's where once we have the bar open, we'll have rum.
Okay.
And so everything in the well will be our products.
Nice.
And so we're running the full gamut. So we'll have the tequila, 4 different types of whiskeys, vodka, gin, rum, and we'll be doing some Amaros and a bunch of other stuff that we'll be able to make cocktails out of too.
Okay.
So.
Nice. So, tell me a little bit about that, because that's exciting. You guys have a great location here. I mean, you're on the corner of University and you said Roosevelt, right?
Yes. Yeah. So if anybody's familiar with the Oreganos off of University, we're about 100 feet west of that location. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're excited. We're in the old Ragarama building.
What's Ragarama?
Ragarama used to be an old secondhand clothing store.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So
Ragorama.
Yeah, Ragorama. Yeah, and then so we landed in this spot. It was originally a old grocery store.
Okay.
It was built in 1946. So it's got a pretty old school look to it. You can see the block windows and stuff. But,
Yep.
But yeah, we'll have a bar. We'll have a little bit of a restaurant. I say a little bit of a restaurant, but it's we're looking at having maybe 5 or 6 things.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Just to keep people around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in the beginning we might team up with Oregano's and the restaurant next door, Perfect Pear Bistro.
Okay.
And we might be doing. People can probably order from them and then bring it inside if they want to. But yeah, we're really excited. We're next week we're getting big slabs of mesquite, and that'll be our bar top.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, we're excited. We went and picked them out a couple months ago down in Tucson, and it's cool to see stuff that grew in Arizona, and we're putting it down for our bar top.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just excited to finally get the place where it needs to be. And we've been in this facility for about 16 months. And
in this location here.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, that's why we're in this location. Like in our old location, we were in an old warehouse. If anybody's familiar with us and they took a tour on Groupon and stuff like that, we were in an old warehouse. We did our whole build out. We dug a gas line 100 feet from the road to our building. We had everything set up, and then the landlord gave me a call and said we sold the building. So, and we're like, oh. So
After you did all that,
we spent 6 figures on a build out, and then
Yeah.
So we got kind of kicked.
And you guys were already distributing pretty heavily at that point too, right?
Yeah. We were in distribution. We were going good with our tours and stuff like that, and that hit took about 30% of our revenue.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting to this spot, and we've been here 16 months now, and we're finally seeing some progress. We upgraded the water line to a 2-inch water line, and then we're upgrading the power, and we're sprinklering the whole building.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're excited to see the future, and just definitely ready to get open. And
Yeah.
So
What do you have as a goal, like overall for the distillery? Like, you have a big picture. I know you guys want to get out, distribute. Like, do you have something specific in mind where you want to be?
You mean like 5 years from now
Yeah,
or stuff like that?
yeah.
I mean, we want to be everywhere.
Yeah.
We want to try to be in all 50 states, and wherever countries we can get into. It's just we're so small that you see that it just seems like it's so far away.
Right.
But we just continue to reinvest in the company and just keep trying to build it out. We have some ideas for some different whiskeys. We're going to be doing. We have our Park Rye, which this one that you tried was in a barrel 7-8 months. A small barrel is like 15 gallon barrel. Our other rye whiskey that we're going to be doing a beer dinner. We had 5 rye barrels that we gave 1 barrel to each brewery.
Okay.
There's 5 different breweries we gave them to. We gave 1 to Dragoon, 1 to Santan, 1 to Huss, 1 to Four Peaks, and 1 to Lumberyard.
Okay.
And they're doing their all collective takes on their rye barrel aged beers with
nice.
our rye barrels.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then it's basically going to kick off Real Wild and Woody.
Okay.
July 26th. It's at Arrogant Butcher. So I don't know if this will probably air after the.
It will. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you're
yeah.
listening to this, you guys missed out.
Yeah.
Unless you didn't, right?
Unless you didn't, then yeah.
Nice. If I was in town, I would have gone. I'm going to be in New Hampshire that week. I was pretty bummed out. I've never been to Real Wild and Woody, but I heard it was awesome. And now you make me realize how much more disappointed I'm going to be.
Well, I'll let you try this too. is the one that is 2 years old, so it makes it a straight whiskey. Anything that's
gotcha.
Aged 2 years or longer makes it a straight whiskey.
Okay.
No, this is the wrong one. Sorry.
You're not going to pour that out, are you?
No. Maybe that is the right one. Sorry.
Tricking me.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm confused. There's so much different bottles around here.
That's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, right.
Of,
I know.
Of alcohol, yeah. So this is how's this different than the? I know you said aged 2 years. So this is the Park Rye whiskey, but this is just aged longer.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
In larger barrels.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, the reason why we use smaller barrels is because the surface area is greater on those barrels.
Okay.
And the wood gets into the whiskey faster.
Okay. Give it a fuller taste or more.
Well, yeah, there's some controversy with the smaller barrels. You know, the classic bourbon drinkers, and they think that it's not any good. You need time in the big barrel to age, which it's so subjective.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. I mean, like the same thing with our Desert Durham. Some people love it, some people don't like it. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. But
right.
You tend to get a little bit more credibility if your whiskey's a little bit older.
Yeah.
You know, if it's straight. We do have our Durham wheat that was aged in a large barrel, and it's 4 years old. And anything that's 4 years old and barreled at 100 proof that you can do bottled in bond.
Okay.
So if you see a bottled in bond whiskey, that
Yeah.
means it's 4 years old and it's 100 proof.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, we'll have the first bottled in bond whiskey in Arizona.
Nice.
So yeah, we're excited to get that one out. So actually, I'll let you try some of that too.
I mean, if I have to, yeah.
I mean, the nose on this is super.
Do you have a favorite? Like, do you have a favorite of what you guys make?
I'm kind of a seasonal drinker, so like in the summertime I'll drink the clear stuff, and in the wintertime I'll drink the whiskey. But you know, whatever's around, you know, I'll drink. I mean, my favorite I like the Humphreys.
Okay.
And I like the gin, and then the tequila is starting to get to me.
That's
So,
fantastic. Yeah. And that's interesting because I'm a whiskey guy. I like bourbon. I like Scotch. And I was surprised that my two favorites are the gin and the tequila. They have just such good flavor to them both.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I haven't had this one yet. This is the bonded.
Well, this is it's, you know, our whiskeys are a little bit, it depends on what you like. You know, we're trying to offer something that it appeals to everybody.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the bourbon, maybe you'll like the Humphreys. If you don't like the Humphreys, maybe you like the rye.
Right.
Don't like the rye, maybe you like the Durham. So
best thing to do is just try them all.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the fun in it.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks. So, so people, are you still giving tours?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We used to have, this was our tasting room, but they're going to start tearing some stuff up now. So that's exciting for us, but unfortunately that is where we have to shut down.
Gotcha.
So we're hoping that we'll be open by Labor Day.
Okay.
Up and going by Labor Day.
Yeah. So, when's Labor Day? I always forget.
September.
Okay.
The only reason why I remember it's like around my birthday. So
okay.
Yeah, it's Labor Day is first week of September.
Gotcha. Okay. So you guys are on social media, right? Like you?
Yeah. Arizona Distilling Company on Facebook, at AZ Distilling for Instagram and Twitter. Okay. And so
nice.
Yeah,
so,
and we're on Snapchat too. I think we have 4 followers.
Gotcha.
It's all my family.
Yeah. It's 3 more than I got. So.
But yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so you guys just follow because I'm excited for when you guys open up. I want to see what you got going on. And
yeah, we can't wait to bring people in here. You know, it's been a long time coming, and just very happy to to be in business still, you know, after what happened. So it's just and it's great to see other distilleries opening up as well, you know, around Arizona. It's good to see that we're part of something that is here to stay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
great. You know, that's the kind of I moved out here 2007. I think it's just awesome, the expansion of the wineries, the brewery. I think the brewery number has doubled since I moved out here.
Yeah.
So people like to drink out here, and they like to drink good stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's not, you know, all the beer is fantastic in my opinion. All the alcohol that I've had, like the spirits, it's great too. The wine too, it's all good. So I'm excited to be part of this. I'm originally from Ohio, but I'm pretty proud to say that I'm a Arizonan at this point.
Well, if you spend one summer here, you're a native.
That is true. When I moved out here in October, I was telling somebody, they're like, "Oh, you're from Ohio." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm a Phoenician now." They're like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "You haven't been through a summer. After a summer, you can say that." I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's kind of the hazing process.
Yeah. And I've made it. It's been tough. But I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of a trade-off.
Yeah.
You just stay inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you go to a water park.
Right. Or Flagstaff.
Yeah. Or there's that.
Yeah.
Or Rocky Point or whatever.
Right.
You know.
So many options.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, thanks, dude. I really appreciate this. Yeah,
Thank
guys,
you.
Come check this out. Check them out on social media. See when they open up. You can get some of their stuff. You can get it Total Wine.
Yeah.
Right?
So
liquor stores.
Yeah, our vodka, our gin, and our bourbon, and our Desert Durham. That'll all be available at Total Wine.
Okay.
We also, the vodka, gin, and bourbon is available at Walmart.
Okay.
Bevmo, Tops Liquor, local liquor stores around the valley.
Okay.
But the Copper City is at Fry's as well. So yeah, and it's also available here at the distillery. Once we get open, we'll be able to sell all of our stuff out of here too.
Yeah. Nice. And I'm sure, and you have accounts across the valley too, probably.
Yeah, we're in about 1,000 accounts
Nice.
right now. So throughout, you know, from the Grand Canyon down to Douglas.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
So yeah, we appreciate the support from everybody. You know, it's been awesome. It's just been an awesome experience going through this, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, keep making good drinks, good spirits, and
Thanks,
I'll
man.
keep drinking it.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. If you guys see this product out somewhere at the liquor store, at a restaurant, make sure you try it. Support this awesome local distilling company. In the meantime, as always, if you're enjoying the show, a huge favor, rating on iTunes and a review if you're feeling up to it. Just kind of show some support, help me grow this show a little bit. I've been getting a lot of really good support. The listenings per episode are going up, so I can really tell people are connecting with this. So I really enjoy that. One thing that I always want to make sure that you do: stay awesome.